Welcome to News Nation. Common sense is not too common these days, is it? But if you look past the posers on the left and right, you can see what's reasonable. Reasonable is enforcing immigration laws, but not all people who enter illegally are the same. And you know who knows that? Law enforcement. You know who else? Communities all over this country that need and are improved by folks who may not have come here the right way, but they do the right thing once here. Democrats relied on this notion too heavily, ignored the flow of illegal migrations to their own peril and the country's, and gave Trump an easy opportunity. But now our president, too, is losing the plot. How? New DHS data provided to reporters on a call shows that under Trump, 1 in 4 migrants arrested by ICE, no criminal background, other than the illegal entrance, which I don't know why Democrats insist it's not a crime to enter illegally. It is. It's a misdemeanor under the code. I don't know why they're living in defiance of that. But what happened to rounding up the bad hombres? Remember all of the Trump talk about how they're killing everybody and one is too many? And see, for Trump, this is about numbers, not national security. So more is better, no matter if they are bad hombres or not. And then to make it more impressive, they're now saying Biden fudged his immigration arrest numbers. And you know what the proof is? Me either. They gave us none. And that should always make you think. If they can't show you that what they're saying is true, you got to go slow on believing it these days. Look, just round up the criminals. Don't pretend wanting to enforce the law means that you have no heart. And when it comes to who has to go as a priority, just use your head. Be reasonable. Next, Democrats fighting for Mahmoud Khalil, making him a poster boy of free speech after what happened at Columbia University. I push back on the idea that this is about speech. First, there were so many illegal acts that violated people and property on the Columbia campus. That all happened in the name of the protests that he negotiated on behalf of. And even if it were just about what he said, two things. Green card holders, which is what he is, don't get the same protections of the First Amendment that you and I do. Look it up. As such, the government has a lower burden of proof to deport Khalil as a green card holder, especially if the speech goes to promoting terroristic ideas. And his group praised October 7th, called for armed resistance to destroy Western civilization, okay? But the real point here that blows past reasonable is why the left is protecting this anti-Semite and not the Alawites in Syria, not the Uyghurs in China, not the Christians in the Congo. You know why? Because this is about preference, not protecting what matters. And that's not reasonable. The markets, tanking. Trump now says they don't matter. Nor do polls showing over half of us are upset at his handling of the economy. And he now points to falling rates of inflation as a good sign. All of that existed under Biden from time to time, and all of it was ammunition for Trump. Trump said nothing that he's saying now under Biden. When the markets went down, look how terrible. Falling rates of inflation, not enough. Prices are still inflating. All obvious hypocrisy. And yet he and his zealous supporters now have new rules, just like with tariffs, despite historically opposing tariffs because they almost inexorably have the effect of raising prices. And that's why they used to oppose them on the right as the party of free trade. Now they're great. This isn't about being reasonable. It is irrational, and they know it. But they're playing to advantage. Not yours, theirs. Same with Democrat leader in the Senate, Chuck Schumer, threatening to shut down the government if they're not given more pull. But this Republican continuing resolution mostly keeps the same level of funding that got passed under under Biden. It's basically the same thing, a little bit more for defense. And at the same time that they were passing one that was very similar, Schumer slammed Trump for threatening to shut down the government. And here's the proof.
You have called 20 times to shut down the government. You say, I want to shut down the government. We have solutions that will pass the House and Senate right now and will not shut down the government, and that's what we're urging you to do. Not threaten to shut down the government, because let me just finish, because you can't get your way. We want to do the same thing we did last year, this year. That's our proposal. If it's good then, it's good now, and it won't shut down the government.
Why doesn't he say that now? The CR is almost exactly the same as the one he was selling to Trump right then. Because he's playing left versus right, not being reasonable. The Democrats haven't learned that what got them here will not get them where they want to be. That's why I don't understand why they're hyping Senator Elisa Slotkin as the messenger for the future when she seems to be saying exactly what worked worst with aggrieved Americans. You know, if you didn't vote for the Democrats, you're just stupid. Take a listen.
I don't think there's anyone who feels like what's going on right now is normal, even if you voted for Trump. You know, we're about to turn 250 years old, right? We're still pretty young for a country. These are our like our angry teenage years. And what do you do when you have a teenager who's threatening themselves and others? You just try to get them through this period alive so that their brain can fully form and you can come back to kind of what
Are
a
you
country.
talking about Trump?
No, I'm talking about our country. We're pendulum swinging.
See, not me. My wife and I are parents of multiple teenagers. One is actually 22 today, so she made it, so I must know something. And no, I don't just help them get through. You have discipline, you have rules, you have standards, and you have consequences, okay? And I'll tell you what you don't do. You don't say, well, you're young, so you're stupid, and you're going to do bad things all the time. America is young relatively. We are not dumb. And people know when government is more about those in power than those who put them there. And that is why I will end on the biggest mistake the Trump administration has made to date. And it was a layup. Nothing speaks to what's wrong with government more than the lack of transparency. And here we are 2+ months in, and still no real info about JFK, Epstein, and the UAPs, the drones. Lots of overpromising, lots of underdelivery. Even Kash Patel has proven penny ante so far. Why? Why? Because ultimately it's about the interest of the few, not the many. Now, independents will see everything I've said as obvious, but the left and right are oblivious because they play the game of advantage no matter the hypocrisy, no matter the cost to change, no matter any of it. The majority needs things done. The parties don't want the same things. And that's why, oh yeah, it's both sides. And when you push past left and right, you get to what is reasonable. Hey, thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget, click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.